Okay. So as you all know, the legal age of drinking is 21. My proposition is that it should be changed to 18. At age 18, a person is considered an adult, so they should have all the rights. Preventing someone from something isn't always effective. Most laws require a person to be 18 and not 21. For example, you can get a tattoo, a piercing, you can vote, you can smoke and buy cigarettes, and go to hookah lounges and clubs. There is a number of things you could do at age 18. Obviously, there is a good reason for choosing 18 over age 21. At age 18, you can make many huge life decisions, even something as big as renting a hotel or buying a property or home or even getting married. When you inhibit a person from doing something, it makes them want to do it even more because of the simple fact that they cannot do it. When something is restricted from you, you pay even more attention and it becomes more interesting than what you can have. For example, like when you're on a diet and you know you can't eat chips, soda, cookies, it draws more attention to that and you want it more than ever. When you can't have something, it seems scarce and you want to use it. Like for example, if someone would tell you that there is a limited amount of water, I'm sure that the first thing you would do is grab a glass of water to drink or take a long shower or even both. This wanting even more we cannot have is called psychological reactance, as Dr. Pauline Wallman calls it. It is a form of rebellion. It's like, oh, I can't have this, well watch and see me get it. For example, when your parents do not allow you to do something, there is nothing more than you want but to do it. If they let you, it is no longer a big deal anymore. Or when your parents tell you to close your eyes in a movie, you want nothing more than to see what's going on in the movie. Or when someone says, whatever you do, don't look behind you. It becomes like a magnetic pull turning your head around. If a person wants something, they will do whatever they can to get it. That's why I don't think it even is effective to make the drinking age 21. For example, in the Prohibition era, drinking was banned altogether, but of course people did not follow this law. Instead, people built speakeasies and went through extreme measures in order to get alcohol. Just like when children are not allowed to date, they will do whatever it takes. They might say that they got invited to a party and even go so far as to print out an invitation to show their parents as proof. They might say they're sleeping at a friend's house, and the worst part is that they will lie repeatedly over and over and over again to their parents. Although drinking by persons under the age of 21 is illegal, people aged 12 to 20 years drink 11% of all alcohol consumed in the United States. I got that from a website. I forgot what it's called though. If people were allowed to drink by 18, there would be less people getting in trouble with the law. It will also most likely improve the issue of drinking and driving because there won't be such a huge desire to drink, so it would be less common. By the age of 18, a person deserves to drink legally, and I think that they're capable of handling the consequences that come along with it. There are like a lot of other countries that allow it, so I think they're right to do that. When you're 18, you're punished as an adult, the same exact way that a 21-year-old is punished, so I think you should be able to drink the same way a 21-year-old is punished. And no matter what age you are, if you're going to make a bad decision like drinking and driving, you're going to do it regardless. So I don't think it's necessarily like 21, oh, now you're not going to do anything bad or irresponsible. So I think changing the age to age 18 will have a positive change.
All right, Diana, the proposition as you start is a policy claim. You're arguing that we should lower the drinking age to 18, basically. You're saying it should be 18. And that's a policy claim. We talked about the word should being associated with policy claims almost consistently. So that's a problem. I did think at the end of the speech, though, when you phrased your claim that said, if we were to reduce this, it would reduce the problems or produce advantages. That's the way your claim needs to be formatted, because then you're making a claim of fact. So if you took that exit line that you had and used that as your proposition, I think you'd be a lot better off. There's not really a plan set up or a preview that tells us where we're going. We do, however, know that there's a controversy on the subject. The problem is most of the controversy that you present are value-based issues about how it's unfair, the rules at 18 are, you give us the usual comparisons, all the things that people are allowed to do when they're 18, but that's really a value argument. The closest that you get to in making claims of fact are the claims that say that the law is failing to prevent people from drinking when they are underage, and then you do make a claim at the end that says it would reduce the problems. So those two things are secondary claims of fact. They ought to be more clearly signposted, and they should have been in the preview. People who are listening closely will probably be able to pick them out. But remember, audiences are not always good listeners, and sometimes you need to help them a little bit. So I think it would be advisable to give them more structure during the presentation. I've got a lot of hypothetical examples in the presentation. You are reasoning using metaphors and comparisons constantly, and you use a lot of interesting hypotheticals to illustrate those points. The idea that discouraging somebody from doing something encourages them to do it, I think that there's some truth to that. The question is it true in this particular case? I don't think that's true in everything, because I absolutely do not want any of you giving me money. Please do not leave cash on the table when you go tonight. And I don't want any of you thinking of washing my car for me. Now, the truth of the matter is that I've told people that I don't want them to do something. I doubt very much that suddenly my prohibition on those things is going to encourage them to do that kind of stuff. There are reasons why it works that way, and I think you need to explain what those reasons are, and you haven't done that. The one source citation that I got that was pretty good was you had a quote about the, psychological reactiveness. And but that quote really explains the theory here. It doesn't apply that theory to this particular subject. And there's a lot of research on here that talks about these kinds of things. So it seems to me like it's just under-researched on this point. There is information that says the thing that you're talking about that you ought to be able to get into the speech, but you don't have it here. The only other thing that was close to being cited as evidence, is that statistic that you had that comes from a website, which you were going to get in trouble on. You could tell when you said it. Oops, a website. I don't remember what it was. You need a better source citation than that. And what you need to do is you need to be able to tell us the fact that statistically a lot of people under the age of 18 drink doesn't necessarily mean that the laws don't work, because what percentage of people over the age of 18 drink? By comparison, that would seem to suggest that there is some impact of those laws, that it is effective in some way. If you've got some other information that points to those conclusions, you need to get that into the presentation. The claim about drinking and driving it's a claim, and that's all it is. There's no explanation about why it would work this way. There's no examples or proof on that, and so you need better information on that. I did think, like I said at the end of the speech, you clarified what the claim should be a little bit more effectively, and so you finished off with a good statement of the point that you were trying to make. I just think there's a lot of stuff in the middle there that needs to be worked on. All right, thank you.